Oh, hey, Brittany. How are you?
What's up? I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Sorry.
What you reading over there?
Yeah, I was reading the Rolling Stone. Stillwater Runs Deep by William Miller. It's really good. Yeah. Which reminds me, I guess the reason I'm doing this is welcome back, everyone, to the Reaction Shot Podcast. I'm your host, Dave Herman, and joining me today is Brittany, and we are doing Almost Famous.
Almost Famous. What's up?
Almost Famous.
How are you?
I'm doing well, Brittany. How are you?
I'm great. I'm
You're
ready
great.
to talk about this film.
Ooh, I can't wait. If for anyone who doesn't know, this is my favorite movie of all time, and who better to talk about this movie with than Brittany Cunningham herself. Brittany, I know we have tried to record this episode multiple times, and between illness and all these other life events, we just weren't able to do it. But here we are. Are you happy to be here?
Tonight's the night. Yes, I'm so happy to be here. I'm excited.
Good. Well, I'm happy to have you, and I'm so excited to talk about Almost Famous. Now, before we jump into this, I do want to let everyone know that the majority of the conversation we are going to be having on Almost Famous is about the untitled Director's Cut Bootleg Edition. This is available to buy pretty much anywhere, whether it be digital or physical. So I do suggest you go check out this version of the film. This was the version of the film that Cameron Crowe intended everyone to see. It is 40 minutes longer than the theatrical version that came out, and it's amazing. That's my opinion. So we're going to get into it. We're going to see how Brittany feels about this. And the great thing is we are celebrating the 25th anniversary of this. It's crazy to think that it's been 25 years. But here we are. Basically, it's all happening.
It's all happening.
It's all happening. All right, guys, a little bit of background on Almost Famous. It is a 2000 coming-of-age dramedy. It was released on September 22nd, 2000. It was written and directed by Cameron Crowe. It had a budget of $60 million. Now, getting into this budget and what the box office turned out to be, it opened in limited release the week before September 22nd, and it made $2.3 million. Very limited release. I think it was like 500 some theaters. Nothing too crazy. $2.3 million on that small of a scale, not too bad. When it opened everywhere in the United States, it ended up making $6.9 million. So it was an additional $6.9 million. So that's not the best.
No.
The domestic box office, the total ended up being, at the end of its run, just in the United States and Canada, $32.6 million. Didn't even make its budget back. But the worldwide gross usually helps a little bit. We get these other markets that come in and make lots of money overseas. However, that didn't work out too well either, because it brought the $32.6 million only up to $47.4 million. So,
Oh, wow.
yeah, so Almost Famous was not really a hit when it came out. It actually lost the studio money. Crazy to think, because I feel like now, love it or hate it, I feel like everyone pretty much knows what Almost Famous is. I think there are quotes and moments that are a staple in pop culture. Therefore, Almost Famous has kind of taken on a life of its own. So over time, it's kind of became its own success story, I guess you would say. So, to paint a picture for you, Brittany, it's opening weekend. The movie takes place in 1973. It premiered at number 3 at the box office, its opening weekend. Number 1 at the box office that weekend was Urban Legends 2, The Final Cut. Number 2 at the box office was the re-release of a 1973 film called The Exorcist.
That's wild.
Yeah, so a movie from 1973 that was reissued into the movie theaters beats a movie that takes place in 1973. How wild is that?
That is a plot twist and a half. I love it.
Plot twist and a half, man. The devil came through and said, Almost Famous, you're not beating me this weekend.
Right? Not today.
Not
that
today,
movie
kids.
is actually kind of... I watched it during the day, and I said, okay, I get it.
Have you ever watched it at nighttime?
Honestly, I don't think so, but like I've seen the other ones at night, just not during, like not the original.
Gotcha. Well, Almost Famous is a completely different film than The Exorcist,
Yes.
and the fact that
Different
it takes place in
vibe.
1973, yeah. To me, I just find that kind of humorous that, such an older film took the limelight away from Almost Famous, but that's okay. As I said, Almost Famous became its own success story, and The Exorcist, of course, is a staple in cinema history at the end of the day. Almost Famous has a pretty amazing cast. I'm going to run through them really quick for you guys. We have Patrick Fugit as William Miller, Billy Crudup as Russell Hammond, Frances McDormand as Elaine Miller, Kate Hudson as Penny Lane, Jason Lee as Jeff Beebe, Zooey Deschanel as Anita Miller, Anna Paquin as Palexia Aphrodisia, I have to say her whole name, Fairuza Balk as Sapphire, Noah Taylor as Dick Roswell, Philip Seymour Hoffman as Lester Bangs, and Terry Chen as Ben Fong Torres.
So it's good to see familiar faces 25 years ago.
Yeah. I don't know if you noticed, but Eric Stonestreet from Modern Family is actually one of the counter guys at the hotels.
I did notice that. I said, is that guy from Modern Family? Because I've never actually watched that show before. Everybody tells me I should. But,
Yeah.
yes.
It's good. Yeah, so he popped up in there, and as you said, a lot of these names weren't very big at the time. They were kind of at the start of their career, and even the ones who were kind of known at the time, this was kind of like the jumping off point for them, so really shot them into the movie market, getting them more roles, and most notably Kate Hudson. Pretty great cast. We're going to talk a little bit more about some of the casting a little bit later. Now, I mentioned that Almost Famous was not the biggest success when it first came out. Reviews for it at the time were pretty mixed, more on the favorable side, but they were still pretty mixed. Now, of course, in the day of the internet, we get all these crazy reviews, and everyone's a critic nowadays. So everyone's a William Miller in their own way. So right now we have, in the review world, Rotten Tomatoes, Almost Famous is critically at a 91%. And audience score is at a 92%. Over at Metacritic, we have a 90 out of 100. Letterboxd, we have a 4.1 out of 5. And Internet Movie Database, we have a 7.9 out of 10. It's pretty successful now. People seem to love it. These numbers are pretty sky high. This is definitely one of the more favorable film that we've done on the podcast with this many glowing reviews. But as always, I like to jump into the world of these internet William Millers who think that they just have the best opinions in the world. Brittany, did you get any fun little reviews you found online?
I did. I found 3.
Okay.
Different variety. I have one that is a 2.5, which reads, Almost Famous is a case study in the decline of music and movies. Both want to keep the fun and profundity, but neither has figured how to have it both ways. That's John Anderson from Newsday. But he did that last year. So,
Okay.
like I said earlier, I feel like you watch this film at a certain time, you're going to have a different mindset going into it.
Okay. Yeah, I can see that perspective for sure.
Yes. So then my second one is a 3 out of 4 by Katerina. She said, Almost Famous has both great music and great banter in spades. It's Crowe's most ambitious and best film yet, displaying a more assured, aggressive touch.
Okay.
I thought that was
I'll
a
take
nice
that.
one.
I like that one. I'll take that.
Yeah. I was like, the music is great.
The music is
Enjoy
great.
it. The
It's
banter, back and forth. Kate Hudson, Penny Lane, love her.
Talk about it for an hour.
My girl. Yes. And then my last one is a 5 out of 5. 21 years on, and there is still so much love in this film. Crowe's last great work, and it's hard not to well up when the whole bus sings Elton John's Tiny Dancer. That's Paul Klein from Film Hounds of last year. A 5 out of 5.
Paul Klein, I really like the way you think because same, sir.
Yeah.
Same.
Nice.
Excellent. Yeah. So we got some people's opinions there. I also found a couple opinions as well, and these reviews. Okay. Here
Oh, no.
over. Oh no. You know me. I gotta find the ones that make me.
The dramatic ones, I love it.
The dramatic ones. Yeah, I gotta read them that way too. You know. Okay.
Yes.
So over at Letterboxd, we have MXDMXD. Great name. We have them over at Letterboxd, and they gave the film a half star. Not even a whole star. Every adult suck in that movie. Every adult suck in that movie. Credible so far. Except maybe the groupie, not a groupie, played by Firuza Balk, whose name I forget. And thus, this ended up being hate watching. I really don't care that it's super appreciated. Unwatchable as far as I'm concerned. And that's despite I should really, really love this film. What? I don't know.
Interesting.
I don't know, Brittany. Interesting indeed. I have no idea. The next one is from some weird name I can't read, guys. But also a half star. This person says, this movie is filled with evil demons. It has achieved Fight Club levels of disastrous cultural conception. This movie has ruined lives and has maimed my own indirectly. I watched it at 2 times speed. Were I watching it normal, the score might have been a star higher.
No, these aren't real reviews. I can't. I can't. That hurts my brain.
Why were you watching it 2 times speed, especially if you knew that you wouldn't like it watching it that way?
And also, how are you even slowing it down like that?
I don't know.
I have a lot of questions.
I need to reach out to this person. All right, moving on.
Yeah.
All right, I had to grab another half star. These people just... I appreciate opinions. I like open dialogue and conversations, but...
Yes.
Okay.
Sometimes...
Yeah. This person, a half star again, name is Elu. Sure. She said, so I guess another 15-year-old directed this film. The only woman that had a character was Kate Hudson, and her character was, I'm not like the other girls. And of course, a male directed it. Straight up ass. Okay.
I'm not going to say that I agree.
Okay.
But I kind of understand what she means.
Okay.
Maybe.
Perfect.
Okay.
We'll come back to that. I like where we're going. Okay.
Okay.
Now, I had to do one more because, I have to be an overachiever and do 4 reviews instead of 3. This is a 5-star review.
Okay.
And this person should be my friend. Her name is Leslie von der Vant.
All right.
Okay. I'll never remember her name, so yeah. Okay. A coming-of-age story that doesn't romanticize music so much as understand it. Crowe stages warmth with a code. Be honest and unmerciful. The Tiny Dancer bus ride doesn't magically heal. It simply reminds everyone why they're on the road together. Journalism, loyalty, fame. Everything is tested against integrity. The needle drops are structured, not decor. The mixtape is a character. It de-dramatized uncool and framed integrity as belonging. Writing as closeness, music as truth, mentorship as course and correction. The question of that makes us unanswered here. Maybe like this. Stay honest even when it hurts. And share a song that saves everyone for even just 1 minute. Belonging is the shared frequency. We are what we endure together. And we turn up when it matters. That's how the cycle finds its tempo and stays. Music to
I
my
like that
heart.
review.
I like that review too. She gets it. Leslie, change your last name and let's be friends. Okay.
Leslie gets it. Leslie gets it.
Leslie gets it. All right,
Yeah.
Leslie, we're
No,
friends.
Okay. I can... Yes.
Yes. Almost Famous, again, as mentioned multiple times, came out in the year 2000. Brittany, our last movie episode that we did together, we did a love letter to your favorite movie, which was Bring It On. Yeah. That also came out in 2000. So we touched a little bit on what was happening in pop culture at the time. I wanted to grab some more things that were going on at this time as well, when this movie came out. On my end, I kind of boiled it down to September 2000, just what was going on that month alone. Did you take any notes on anything that was happening in pop culture at that time?
Not necessarily notes, but I was like going through it. There was a lot of new bands coming about, like Coldplay, Avril Lavigne. It was kind of the end of Spice Girls, but to not really. Maybe Jerry probably left already. Britney Spears was still up and coming. Justin Timberlake was going off and doing his own thing. So there was a lot of things happening in the music industry, for sure.
You're correct. Absolutely. Yeah, so some of the things I have written down for the month of September 2000 in pop culture in general. I have Aaliyah and Eminem won super big at the MTV VMAs that month. Love both of them so much. So cool to see that they were dominating the VMAs at that time. Venus Williams won her first U.S. title in women's tennis. Crazy.
Nice.
Yeah.
Love that.
The West Wing and Will and Grace dominated the Emmys.
Okay.
Andrew Lloyd Webber's Cats closed after 7,485 performances on Broadway. Just a few shows. Just a few. Just a couple. Dan Marino retired from the Miami Dolphins. I had to throw some sports in there, guys. I have Venus Williams and my Dan Marino, so for all you sports people out there, I got you covered.
Yeah. I'm not sure who Dan Marino is. Baseball?
Miami Dolphins, so he's football, but the only reason I know that... Yeah. The only reason I know that is because when I was a kid, people would always ask me, "What's your favorite football team?" And of course, I didn't give a shit about football, so I always said
the colors were pretty.
The colors were pretty, and Dolphins are cool. So the Dan Marino was the quarterback, so I knew that. So yeah,
that's funny. Me too. My brother and I would always play like football games on Nintendo 64, and I would always be the Miami Dolphins because they had pretty colors.
Brittany. We get each other. Person. We get it. So now you'll never forget Dan Marino was the quarterback of the Miami Dolphins.
In 2000.
Yeah, I'll start my sports podcast next.
Yes, can't wait.
Thanks. Janet Jackson's Doesn't Really Matter and Madonna's Music battled the #1 spot on the Billboard chart for the entire month of September. They kept kind of going back and forth. Ooh. We also have Bring It On dominated the first week of the month of September at the box office. Yes. For 2 weeks after that was The Watcher dominating the box office. And then in the final week of September, it was Urban Legend's Final Cut, which was the same week that Almost Famous came out, was the #1 at the box office.
Wild.
Now you guys know what was going on in 2000. You're welcome. Yes.
25 years ago is blowing my mind still.
Same. And seeing like all the movies that came out around that time was just, there's so many good movies, but I feel like that comes with like nostalgia and everything. Kind of going back to some of those movies, I'm like, this is not a good movie. I'm like, why did I like you? I don't know. We're talking about reviews, talking about pop culture, we're talking about this movie. Brittany, it is time for us to get your reaction shots and mine on this film. So we're going to do the typical, on a scale of 1 to 10, how do we grade these things? I'm going to start with the acting of Almost Famous. On a scale of 1 to 10, what do you rate the acting in this film?
Honestly, I gave it a 9. I thought the acting was really great. Penny Lane, as I said earlier. Love Kate Hudson. She's fantastic. I thought Russell did a great job, though I wanted to kick him to the curb many times. Anna Paquin, she is a wild human. Absolutely adore her. Her character, crazy.
Crazy.
But yeah, no, I love the cast. Elaine, who's played by Frances, what's her last name?
Frances McDormand,
Yeah, I love her. She's great.
She's phenomenal in this movie.
And she's so funny, like her facial expressions, just different things.
Yeah, she plays the overprotective mom so well.
So well. So well. Yeah. And like her banter with Zoe Deschanel, the whole nine. Yeah.
You've been kissing.
Yeah. Right? She goes, how can you tell? She goes, I can.
Oh, so good. Yeah, it's the acting for me, I give a 10. I don't really find anyone in this film to be bad. I think, there's some criticism around Patrick Fugit's performance as William, but my biggest thing about that is he is an innocent 15-year-old who's trying to figure things out, and I think what could be considered bad acting can easily just be played off as him just being shy and trying to figure everything out of what's going on around him. So that's my opinion
what they
on
said.
They just say that he seems really stiff, that he seems like he doesn't really know how to play the character, but I don't agree with any of that at all.
Have they met a 15-year-old? Like, what?
Probably not.
I'm so confused.
This was their first one, and they're like, I don't know what's happening.
Like, do you not remember being 15? You're a stiff creature. You don't know what you're doing. You're trying to figure out your life.
Exactly.
At 37, I'm still trying to figure out my life. Like, what?
Same. Again, same person. Yeah. I don't know what I want to be when I grow up, but... all right, so acting, you gave it 9, I gave it 10. Let's talk about the directing.
I gave it an 8.
An 8, okay.
Yes. I don't necessarily... Not that I don't know why, but... I don't know, like, how do you critique directing?
Sure, I think that's a great question. In my personal opinion, I think it kind of falls into the cinematography as well. We have hired cinematographers that plot out exactly how to do these angles, and you have the director making sure that those angles and positions and lighting, obviously the directing is kind of... I always refer to it, I always say, this is silly, so I'm a general manager of a restaurant, and I kind of feel like I'm the director of it all. Mm-hmm. The cinematographer is kind of like, well, this is the business. This is what we're running. This is what we're going to see. This is what we need to sell. So how do I make that viewpoint the exact thing that's going to make people want to come in? And why do they want to come to my store? Why do they want to purchase these things? Anyone can make Almost Famous. I can give that script to any single person and have them direct it, but it's all about who's running the show. And I think, jumping into mine, I give it a 10. Fun fact, Cameron Crowe is actually my favorite director. My favorite writer also. I have a soft spot for that, but I think his cameraman's name was John Tall, and they worked so well together of figuring out how to bring certain shots to life. All the scenes on the bus, there's actually a track on the top of the bus that runs along, and Cameron Crowe was like, we need to figure out how to make you feel like you're on the bus with these people, but not like in their face. Like you almost feel like you're a part of the bus, like you're a fly on the wall. You get to be with these people, and it's not these close-up shots and these tight spaces, basically. So they invented this line across the bus, and the camera is up here and facing down, and you can maneuver it all around and get all the reactions you need and swivel and stuff. Yeah, so to me, that's how I would judge directing, is just kind of how the show is being ran and the direction that person's giving to bring those things to life. Of course, it takes, just like a restaurant, it takes all the other people to actually fully bring it all together, of course. Yeah, and the director brings the best out of the people. So the scene on the bus with Tiny Dancer, Cameron Crowe, I don't remember the exact number, but they did the scene so many times that one of the actors was like, I'm not doing this again. But Cameron wanted to make sure it was perfect, and he got the emotion that he wanted. And I could talk about that scene for days, which we might later. Story/screenplay. What did you give it?
I gave it a 7.
Why, Brittany? Just kidding.
I'm trying to think of why. Maybe because I don't know. I'll think about it.
Oh, it's okay. No, it's fine. I think about these things all the time. I literally have the screenplay right over there, and it's the original screenplay, so it's the untitled version of the screenplay. I've read through it multiple times. I think it's so good. And pretty much based on Cameron Crowe's life growing up, which we'll talk about a little bit too. So I feel like it was great that he He drew some of his things that happened in his life to kind of create this story and these characters based on people he knew. Like, he knew Penny Lane. He knew people just like Russell. His mom, Elaine, is literally modeled exactly after how his mom was with him and his sister growing up. So some of the dialogue I think is incredible. I could sit here and quote the movie all day long, and we'll talk about some quotes in a little bit. And I had to pick a few that I love, but there's so many that I love. And I think Cameron Crowe has such a way of writing, and I know we're going to get into this too. I feel like he writes with emotion, and I think, in my opinion, he writes characters really well with their emotions. I know that could be a conversation piece about some of the things that happen in this movie, but his writing in Jerry Maguire, so good, and a lot of his other movies, but whatever. It's not about that. I love the screenplay. I give it a 10. I can ramble. This is why I need to pull it together. Okay, you gave it a 7, you said?
I did. I gave it a 7, yeah.
Cool. What was the comedy in the movie for you? What'd you rate the comedy?
I put it 6.5 because I don't, like, was it... I know you said it was a dramedy. Where was the funny? Like, there are funny things that happen, but in general,
sure,
was it necessarily supposed to be funny?
Right.
I don't know.
No, that's a great viewpoint. No, I think Cameron Crowe tries to bring some comedy to the film just because it's since it is loosely based on his life. He wanted to make moments that maybe would make you kind of pull you out of the dramatics of it all. So
True.
I agree with you. There's definitely moments. I gave it a 7. I think some of the moments that are supposed to be funny are funny.
Yeah.
Some people talk about the humor being a little bit off in the movie. I will say in the theatrical version, I feel the way that it's paced and the editing, I feel like it feels a little bit more like a comedy than the untitled version does. Not saying that the theatrical version feels like a comedy per se, but because it's a little bit more tighter, the comedy is not as spaced out, so it feels a little funnier. Does that make sense?
It does.
Okay.
But I also felt like with it shorter, it lost the meaning behind it.
Exactly. The theatrical version felt like it played into some of the sillier parts. Like, those things weren't cut, but some of the more emotional, in-depth heart dialogue were the things that were cut. So yes, that's a perfect way to put it.
Yes. I think I wrote somewhere in my notes that it was the theatrical version was more palatable to the audience. Mm-hmm. Which
Absolutely.
I was like, no, I don't like this.
Yeah.
I don't like it at all, because you don't understand the relationship between Penny Lane and Russell.
No.
And that actually sent me in a spiral.
It's so well fleshed out in the untitled original screenplay by Cameron Crowe. So good. So drama. What did you give the drama in the film?
I gave it a 9.
Cool.
Because there was a lot of dramatic scenes.
A lot of dramatic
Especially
scenes.
with Russell. He is an unhinged character.
For sure. Drama, I gave it a 9. There's a lot of stuff happening. There's a lot of character arcs. There's a lot of people that are going through some growing pains. Obviously, William Miller, 15 years old, trying to figure out life. Russell trying to figure out where the fuck he belongs in life and the band, with Penny Lane, without Penny Lane, with his girlfriend. Like, so much going on. Especially with the band, the dynamics of the band. Lots of drama to be had. The mom. Rock stars have kidnapped my son. Oh, the drama.
The drama.
The drama.
And she ran out of the room. The kids were... That girl just took notes. She goes, this is a part of the studies. Absolutely. This will be on the test.
Yep.
For sure.
Yeah, that girl in her classroom was all for what was happening. She was like, I got notes. Whatever you need. Your kid goes missing. I'll take the notes of every single thing you tell me, and I will find that kid for you.
Done and done.
What do you think about the romance?
Oh, it's devastating. It's a devastating love story. And also, how old is Penny Lane, actually?
Guess we'll never know.
Like, she can't be 15. She can't be.
No.
At all.
No.
I feel like she's older than that, but then so many people are like, she's William's age. No, she is not.
No.
Don't lie to me. Now, Anna Paquin's character, yep, she's absolutely 15. Yep. 16 at the oldest. Squeeze my head. The romance made me mad, so I can't even rate that.
So yes, what did you say? It was what kind of romance? Tragic, like a tragic romance.
Yes,
I agree. I think it's heartbreaking. It's realistic, and
I cried. I cried.
So good.
It was devastating.
A devastating romance. That's what you said. That's it. I'm going to start this episode over again. I'm going to call this, instead of a dramedy, I'm going to call it a coming of age. Yes,
devastating love, unrequited love. Like, there's so many things. There's so many things. Russell is a dick.
He is a dick.
Period.
Romance, I'm going to rate this a little weird. I give romance a 9. But I'm looking at it from a couple different points of view, and that's the love of music, as corny as it sounds. I think that romance plays such a huge part in this film for everyone. And William's romance, I don't want to say romance per se, but his feelings towards Penny, even if it's this curiosity of the romance that was going on between her and Russell, what it was like to be with someone like her. She was kind of like his protector on the road. So I think there was that romance. I think the love of a mother and her child, and how you will do whatever you can to, see your child live out their dreams, even though it really, really hurts you. And Russell's love for his music, and his love for Penny, and then Penny's love for the world around her, but also the troubled relationship she has with loving herself. Is that too deep?
No, that's exactly, yes, all the above. Because, like, she doesn't want William to turn into Anita. So when she says, you have 4 days, you're allowed to do this, like, please don't do drugs.
Yeah.
Like, she just can't, she doesn't want to suffocate him. So yeah, you are right.
That's my romance. I also asked you about the suspense in the film. Did you feel there was any suspense? Were you wondering?
Honestly, I put a 9 because by the end of it, you didn't know what was going to happen with what. The plane scene, that was dramatic in itself. And I was just like holding my breath.
Yeah.
And yeah, I feel like there was a lot of suspense throughout this film that can be rated high enough because of, like, it's a film about music. Why would there be suspense? But
sure,
the intertwining relationships of everybody makes it suspenseful.
Yeah, I think you said it perfectly. The character arc suspense of where these characters are going to end up. I gave it an 8 for the suspense. Like you said, the plane scene, all the concert scenes, when Russell gets electrocuted by the microphone, you're like, what is happening?
Insane.
I'm a golden god.
Right? And then the manager is fighting that guy, and he said, lock the gate, which, that is a flimsy gate.
That's what I was thinking too, yeah.
I thought this was going to be like this extravagant thing, like a door or something. No, it was just a fence. No, it was just not a gate.
Just a fence. It looked like a fence I would have built that you just, like, the wind blew and just, like, fell over.
Yes.
And I'm like, it served its purpose.
Like, that wasn't holding up anything.
No. All right, what about the music, Brittany? What do you rate the music of Almost Famous?
Okay, so originally I gave it a 7. I feel like it deserves higher than that because I was going through, like, the one question that you asked, music as a character, that part, and I chose 4 different songs. So I feel like if you actually listen to the music in the background when certain scenes are playing, it deserves higher. So I'm going to give it an 8.5.
8.5, I love it. So I give it a 10. The music is a perfect soundtrack for the film. It scores the film perfectly. It is a as that girl, I already forget her name, wrote, with the weird last name on Letterboxd.
Lindsay, I think.
Lindsay. Yeah, whatever.
Lindsay Von Dutch.
Von Trapp. Von Trapp. Yep.
Yeah.
You're welcome, Lauren Drake. I remember the sound of music.
That's too funny.
She kind of says that it's perfectly soundtracks the emotions of the film, and I couldn't agree more. I give it a 10. I love it. Now, what is the rewatchability for you, Brittany? You said you watched it multiple times, obviously to get some idea for this podcast, but what do you think the rewatchability is on a scale of 1 to 10?
For myself, it's kind of low.
Okay.
I would maybe put it on in the background,
Okay.
get caught watching certain scenes that I genuinely like.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, for me personally, like 50-50 chance, depending on what I'm doing.
Okay.
I might start it and turn it off, but I would always rewatch the untitled version, bootleg, period. I'm going to keep saying that. Because when I tell you that theatrical, they need to take that off streaming. Delete that.
Get it out of there. Come on, Paramount.
Nobody needs to watch that.
Yeah.
Nobody needs to watch that.
Yeah.
It deserves better than that.
It deserves better. Untitled. Let directors have their vision, damn it. Studios, chill out on these cuts. We'll watch a 2 hour and 40-minute long movie if it's good. So
Agreed.
that's that. Well, I don't want to shock anyone, but I gave it a 10 for rewatchability. Because I watch it quite often. I am not going to lie to you. Yeah. So this isn't your new Bring It On, is what you're telling me.
Correct.
Okay. All right. That's all I needed to hear.
It's okay. Next time.
Next time.
Maybe.
All right. Anyway, no, I'm just kidding. What is your history with the movie, Brittany? I know that you knew what Almost Famous was, but you've never really watched it before. I think you mentioned you had maybe seen some scenes over time, but what is your history? Did you know about it when it came out?
I genuinely didn't know anything about it. I remember seeing the poster because I always wondered who that girl is. And now I know who she is because it's Kate Hudson. Mm-hmm. But, I didn't know who Kate Hudson was until How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, which came out 3 years later. Yep. So I knew nothing of this film.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, my history with Almost Famous, usually I can say I saw it opening weekend or I saw it when it was in theaters, and I actually didn't. I've never seen Almost Famous on the big screen, so...
Oh, wow.
Cameron Crowe, make that happen, untitled version, please and thank you. I
would watch it.
Yeah, we'll go. We'll watch it together
I would go
if it
see
comes
it.
to the big screen.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I never saw it on the big screen. I did see, obviously, the theatrical version when it came out. The first time I watched it, I liked it. I wasn't in love with it. I wasn't it was just kind of, it was there. I was like, all right, cool. I don't think I fully comprehended it. Not that I didn't understand it. It's not a complex film by any means. I think I didn't really pay attention to the emotions of what the film is about. It's simple, but also deep.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Because, again, like I said about the music, if you listen to the backgrounds of certain scenes, you can hear, the music is either mirroring something that's happening or it's kind of exposing what actually isn't, even though they're trying to convince another person, no, I'm a simple man, Russell, as Simple Man is playing in the background, and I'm like, you're restricting this kid far too much to be so simple.
Yes.
But okay.
Absolutely. Nailed it. Yeah, I think...
Thank you.
Good job, Brittany. I think it's one of those films that I always went back to. I don't remember the very first... I can't remember where I was or exactly how old I was when I watched it. It was on DVD, so it probably wasn't too long after it came out to rent or own. I always found myself going back to it, and I felt like every time I watched it, I appreciated it, liked it a little bit more. And it probably wasn't until about 10 years ago where I was like, wait a minute, this is probably my top 3 favorite movies of all time.
Interesting. It is one of my best friend's favorite movies. She did mention that to me a few years ago, and she'd always say, you should watch it. And I'm like, yeah, I'll totally watch it. And then I never did. I don't know why. It just wasn't intriguing to me.
Sure. And then along comes this guy with an amateur podcast named Dave Herman, who's like,
and he said,
watch
so,
Almost Famous.
You're going to watch this. And then you're going to analyze it.
And your friend just wanted you to watch the movie, and I'm like, Brittany, I need you to write a thesis on this film.
And I'm like, okay. So, let's see what happens.
Yeah, put me in contact with your friend. I'll tell them how to approach making someone watch a movie next time. I'm just kidding. Well, I'm glad your friend has great taste, and this is their favorite movie of all time. So
she loves it.
This is, I can say confidently, my favorite movie of all time. This is my number one.
You're Bring It On.
It's my Bring It On. I always tell people I have 3 favorite movies of all time. Almost Famous is my number one. But Scream and Cruel Intentions are my other favorite movies. Those are my three number ones, but I think if someone said, gun to your head, you have to choose. As much as I love Scream and can talk about Scream for life, I did a podcast. It's over 3 hours long. Don't listen to it. It's terrible. But
it's not terrible.
It was so bad, guys. It was my first episode ever. I was like, let's just watch the whole movie and talk about every breath everyone takes, because that sounds really exciting to everyone who cares.
But honestly, Scream is a great movie to do that.
Fair. I'll have to go back and listen to it, because I feel like I've refused to even really dive deep into my podcast from the beginning again. And I love Cruel Intentions. At the end of the day, I mean, Cruel Intentions is like a guilty pleasure favorite movie.
Cruel Intentions is fantastic.
So good. And don't worry, guys. I'll be doing a podcast on that. And Brittany, you're obviously invited to be a part of that.
Absolutely. I have to be.
Yeah.
It's a must.
It'll be an anniversary in March. I don't remember what the number is, but it'll be an anniversary in March, so something to look forward to. That's my history. I mean, like I said, I can't really remember the first time I watched it, but I do know that when the Untitled Director's Cut came out, I watched that and I was blown away, and I think that's what started me falling in love with it more and kind of analyzing it on my own as well. So, again, I mentioned Almost Famous has a backstory to it, and it's that Cameron Crowe wrote this as it's kind of like an autobiographical film. There's obviously things that are changed. Some things are made for dramatics and all that fun stuff. But Cameron Crowe, he did go on tour with some bands, and those people that he went with were notable ones. Led Zeppelin. Like, what? Like, how insanely awesome would that be, at being such a young age and gaining credibility to access the rock scene in the 1970s. So Led Zeppelin, he spent time with them in 1975 for a cover story. It was an assignment that produced memorable backstage moments. A lot of those backstage moments Crowe pulled from and kind of added them into the film, sprinkled them throughout. Most notably, the Allman Brothers was someone that Crowe really spent a lot of time with. The lead singer of the Allman Brothers, he kind of pulled some of that stuff to make Russell Hammond. Not saying that they're the exactly same person, but pulling some of the things that he saw on tour from those. David Bowie. Be on tour with David Bowie. Amazing.
Would have been wild.
Yeah. He got a front row view of celebrity performances and the persona that people got in the celebrity land, the actual rock star, by being with David Bowie. Seeing day in and day out what that rock star lifestyle was like. Of course, Crowe had to put that into the movie as well. Leonard Skinner was someone that he spent a lot of time with as well. And that was a way for him to see, he mentions that there was a variety of rock that he got to learn from Leonard Skinner. He got to learn a lot about the culture of the music at that point in time. He credits these people as the ones who really forced him to open up his eyes to the music and to the vulnerability of people and connections and all of those things. He also worked with some emerging acts as well, probably kind of similar to Stillwater's, where they're kind of like this upcoming rock star bands. I think it's pretty great. That's his background: journalism, Rolling Stone. Lester Bangs, who Philip Seymour Hoffman plays in the film as kind of like a mentor from Cream magazine to talk to William about journalism. Lester Bangs is a real person. Lester Bangs was Cameron Crowe's mentor at a very young age. A lot of people mention that Lester Bangs was actually a lot more ignorant towards Cameron Crowe when he was younger. They kind of dialed it back a little bit in the film, but I still think, I don't even know if ignorance is the right word, but very, very tough love.
Yeah, you can see the bitterness behind some of the things whenever he's talking to William and giving him advice of how to handle the band and all that stuff. which I noticed. So
Yeah.
yes, I can see the real person.
Yeah. Cool.
If he was way worse than what he's portrayed, you can kind of get glimpses of that in certain scenes.
He says that Philip Seymour Hoffman embodied Lester Bangs so well that at times it was kind of surreal. He felt like he was really reliving his childhood again. Pretty interesting. Wow. I think that's great. Good old Cameron Crowe telling us about his life. Yeah. Now I wanna do something a little fun with you right now, Brittany.
Yeah.
We were 15 years old in 2003. Okay. In 2003, if we were an aspiring journalist invited to do a piece of an up-and-coming band and travel with them, who would we choose and why? Again, I want to explain it for a second for people listening. William was 15 years old and almost famous. Brittany and I were both born in 1988. That's our ages, guys. Deal with it. So in 2003, we were 15, much like William was in Almost Famous. So I want to ask, if we were an aspiring journalist, what up-and-coming band would we travel with to do the same type of thing William was doing? Who would we think would be the most exciting, and why?
I genuinely don't know, because in 2002, there's a variety of new artists. We got Ashanti, Norah Jones, Kelly Clarkson, Eminem, Sum 41, Red Hot Chili Peppers, though that's pretty old, or they're pretty old considering when they actually came out. Coldplay. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Probably, genuinely, I was listening to Avril Lavigne nonstop. Complicated. That album was on repeat.
Okay.
So maybe her. Aaliyah, for sure.
Oh, well.
I was, the OG Queen Bee. That's my girl.
I can do a whole podcast on Aaliyah, too, so, yes.
Yes. But yeah, I don't know. There's been so many artists throughout my life that I would want to follow in general.
Sure. Just
to understand how and why they got where they are. Mm-hmm. But I also wouldn't want to, because like Lester said, you have to be, unapologetic. What's he say? About how basically you have to write about these people and you can't be friends with them. Mm-hmm. But like, I wouldn't want to know that much, because I wouldn't want it to ruin my image that I see of them as a musician.
Yeah, and I think it's also something they play into in Almost Famous without actually breaking it down. You know, William seeing a side of this band where he's just like what is happening, to the point where he gets so frustrated, like no one wants to talk to him. They're all fighting about stupid things, and it's like, where's your love for music? Isn't that why we're here? Like, do you even still love this anymore? You're fighting over a shirt, fighting over a girl, like what? None of this, whatever. Are you referring to the quote when Lester says, "You made friends with them? See, friendship is the booze they feed you. They want you to get drunk on feeling like you belong, because they make you feel cool, and hey, I met you, you are not cool." And then he says, "That's because we're uncool, and while women will always be a problem for us, most of the great art in the world is about that very same problem. Good-looking people don't have any spine. Their art never lasts. They get the girls, but we're smarter." And then William says, "I can really see that now." And Lester says, "Yeah, great art is about conflict and pain and guilt and longing and love, and disguised as sex, and sex disguised as love. And let's face it, you get one big head start." Love it.
Great quote. Not the one I was talking about.
No, you're going for it.
No, but like that's what I mean. Like, you want to know these artists, but like at the same time, they have to be a certain way to be the artist that you fell in love with.
Yeah, that's completely fair. I agree with you. There was a lot of great up-and-coming artists and bands at the time. I looked at dates and things like that, and I found a band that was really starting out. Fall Out Boy came out around this time, and I really liked Fall Out Boy, but they didn't really hit their success until their second album, From Under the Cork Tree. I was kind of focusing on bands, and I was like, what band kind of hit it off right off their first album? Like, who shot to stardom and was probably maybe dealing with the same type of things that Stillwater was from the film. So I picked the All American Rejects.
I love them so much. Actually, yep, I would absolutely follow them and write about them wholeheartedly. Perfect. 15 years old? Yup.
Yep.
Yes.
So their debut album came out and at the end of 2002 on a independent music label. It wasn't mainstream. A couple of months later, because they started picking up steam, a bigger record company, bigger record label, picked up that same exact album. Nothing was changed. The songs were all intact. The album was what it was, and it just went crazy. You know, it became super successful. They shot to stardom really fast. Everyone knew their songs. Everyone knew these songs that were on the radio. They went on tour. Tyson Ritter, the lead singer of the All American Rejects, has that rock star mentality. He has the kind of like androgynous in a way. He's all about his music. He kind of looks like he'd be a partier. Maybe he was, maybe he's not. And there's, at least at that time, there was some mysterious stuff about them.
Yes.
Because they came out of nowhere, I think they would be so fun to go on tour with, see how they operate, and write a story on them. And that's my answer, the All American Rejects.
Agreed. And were you aware that this summer they were going to different sheets and, you know, playing music? David, do you know, I was trying so hard to go to Steubenville or wherever they were at. Like, my coworkers and I, we were freaking out. We're like, okay, we got to get out of work. We have to go to this concert. And then they did it again, but we didn't. That's a great pick. I love All American Rejects. So
same.
much.
And, well, hopefully, I heard that they might do some sheets type of concerts again soon. So.
Or like house parties, because in the beginning of the summer they were. Sorry, I'm sidetracking.
It's part of the article,
right? They were going to different like houses, and I said, "Are these like random house parties? These children don't even know who these men are. They're fantastic. This whole band is fantastic." And then all of a sudden, they were in Pittsburgh, outside of Pittsburgh, at a Sheetz, and I said, "I need to be there." I was not. I was still at work. But I tried. I desperately tried.
Yeah, for anyone who doesn't know, that's listening, doesn't know what Sheetz is. Sheetz is an extremely popular gas station. They have a bunch of made-to-order food.
Yeah, they shut that shit down, and they played in the parking lot.
At a gas station,
Twice. Multiple times.
Just in Pittsburgh, yeah.
Yeah.
So. All right, guys, we know what gets Brittany excited. All American Rejects. Check it out.
I love them.
We'll be touring and writing an article with them soon. I've seen them live before, but they was kind of like
I've seen them live once at Stage AE, like in 2010, maybe.
Okay.
Maybe it was a while ago.
A while ago.
Yeah, but
cool.
So good. Good.
Brittany, I guess you can go on this tour ride with me, and we can write a collaborative article on the All American Rejects.
Go. Here for it. Here for it. And we can hold each other accountable so we don't get lost.
Yes.
So we don't get stuck going to like more cities than we were supposed to.
Right. We're gonna be like, Tyson, you sit down, you help, you answer, you do the interview. Damn it, Tyson.
We're gonna do it. Yeah. Russell dicked William around so hard. Like, just give that boy his interview.
That's all he wants. That's all he wants, man.
Everybody else did. The guy was talking about his bass, and that's all he could say. The drummer, he doesn't even speak unless he's on a plane about to drop from the sky.
Best coming out story ever.
Ever. And then once it was fine, he was like, I'm going
to back to being quiet.
Yeah, like, pretend I didn't say words.
Yeah, I didn't say anything that day. All right, so we're talking about all these great moments, and I have to ask you, Brittany, I know you didn't love the screenplay. I think you said you gave it a 7 out of 10.
I did.
Okay. The screenplay is an Oscar award-winning screenplay. Cameron Crowe won the Oscar for Best Script. Why do you think that people love the script so much? Is there anything about the screenplay that you think draws people in, such as myself?
I don't know. I think the screenplay itself is very nostalgic in general, because that was a big topic when we were planning this, and I was talking about like the upcoming movie that I watched. People were like, "Did you like it?" I was like, "I don't know. I'm trying to figure that out." And everybody mentioned the nostalgic of it all, of the film itself. So maybe that's why. And it's because it came out in 2000, but it was based in 73. Maybe people connected parallels to it, and they could see themselves in William or Russell or Penny.
Yeah.
So possibly that.
No, that's good. I think nostalgia, with doing this podcast, I have realized that nostalgia plays a very big part in a lot of these things. And we revisit movies from the past. I talk about this too. Revisit movies from the past that you love, and you rewatch them, and you're like, why did I like this? Or you recommend a movie to someone, and you're like, you should watch this. You'll love it. And then they watch it, and then you watch it again, and then you're like,
and they're like, why did you do that?
Yeah, and you're like, I don't know why I recommended it. I'm so sorry. Take it out. Pretend I never said anything.
Panic.
I take it back. Yeah, absolute panic. The reason why I love the script, and maybe something that some people love about the screenplay, the reason why it was an Academy Award-winning screenplay was Cameron Crowe wrote from the heart of his own nostalgia to bring nostalgia to us as a coming-of-age story about love in, as I mentioned, many different types of forms. Even if we're not someone who loves music the way William does, if we're someone that loves movies the way that William loves music. I've talked about this. I was a guest on another podcast at the beginning of the year talking about Almost Famous, actually. I said I feel as though I can relate a lot to William because I love movies the same way that he loves music. And to be able to sit there and interview a celebrity, someone who's I look up to, I idolize, which, I did get to interview David Howard Thornton of Terrifier on my podcast. And to have those moments, like, these conversation pieces just mean so much. And I think a lot of this movie, as I said, it's a simple story, but there's so much depth to it. And it's the nostalgia and it's the love. So I definitely agree with you. It's that coming of age into discovering what it is that you love. And I don't think that there's not an ending to this film that's wrapped up in a bow. We don't know what happens to William next. If we're basing it off Cameron Crowe's life, we know what he does. But if we're thinking about William and we're thinking about Penny Lane and we're thinking about Russell, we don't know what their future is. We don't get, a screen afterwards after the movie ends that says Russell went on to become a Grammy award-winning lead. We don't get that, and that's okay. I think the story that we get, that coming of age story, is they're coming into discovering a piece of themselves at that moment in life. To me, that's what makes a screenplay so rich, is that it is a simple story, but the depth of the nostalgia and love is what it is. And that's all I'm going to say.
And scene.
Scene.
No, but I understand what you're saying. And on top of that, do you think if the screenplay was great, do you think he would be able to make a sequel to see where everybody's at? to show that they are now famous in whatever aspect that it was. Because Almost Famous is the reason why it's called Almost Famous is because these people are almost famous. They're not famous yet.
Sure.
So yeah. What would the sequel be? If there would be one.
That was a great question. I have not prepared. No, that is a really good question. So, the nostalgia side of me, this is where nostalgia really comes into play. If you give me a sequel to a movie I love, I want it. I want to know. Do I have faith that Cameron Crowe could write a sequel with the same type of heart? Yes. Do I want a definitive answer on where they end up? No, but I would be welcoming to it. I do think that sometimes, and this goes with pretty much any film, when you do a sequel, you do a legacy piece of art in whatever way. Some people do like novels of a sequel or comic books. You can ruin what made it so important.
by opening it up more.
Do I sit and daydream about Russell and William and Penny and what they're doing with their lives now? No, but I would be open to Cameron Crowe letting us know what it is. I don't know. I think I'm very 50-50 on that. I wouldn't say no to it, but I do like the characters enough to be like, yeah, tell me. I just hope that I can love what I get. If that makes sense.
It does. Because honestly, I would love to know if William met Penny Lane in Morocco.
Same. I mean,
I'd love to know.
We can sit here and write a fan fiction of, William still being a journalist, and he goes on tour with some new up and coming band, but him being the journalist will help skyrocket them to fame based on his words, and they have a show in Morocco, and he bumps into Penny Lane in the hotel lobby.
Or he becomes a film director and he writes a story about his 15-year-old life, and he re-meets Penny Lane in the wilderness.
Listen.
At, Canon or whatever that's called, the French.
Guys, I just got goosebumps. Brittany, you're giving me goosebumps. Stop.
You're welcome.
Okay, yeah, I want to see.
I'm curious.
Well, now, damn it, I want a sequel, so make it happen. You DM Cameron Crowe right now. You tell him.
Right? Be like, I need a sequel of your life. Thank you very much.
I
don't know what it's going to be titled, but hey, untitle it again.
Untitled 2.
Yes.
So Cameron Crowe named the film Untitled. He wanted it to actually be called Untitled, and the studio was like, no, you have to give it a name. And he was like, well, Untitled is the name. And they're like, no, you need to give it a name. I read somewhere that him and Jimmy Fallon created, because Jimmy Fallon's in the movie too, Jimmy Fallon had a request box, and they would ask the cast and crew to come up with names for the movie, and they had 50-some things running, and I think Almost Famous was one of them. Don't quote me on that.
That is so interesting.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool. We're talking about the screenplay. Can you tell me a couple of your favorite quotes from the movie?
A couple of my favorite quotes. One where... when Anita walks into the house and Elaine is like, you've been kissing, and she's talking about Simon and Garfunkel and how bad they are because drugs. And she says, there it is, your sister used the F word. And William goes, I think she said feck. And she goes, what's the difference? The letter U. And she just looks at him like, broski, if you don't get away from me.
She's kind of like, I mean,
I will use the F word on you.
Yeah.
It's like, I love that you're so smart. And you're 11. You are the smartest boy, but nope, not today. Not right now.
Not today, son.
Away. Whenever Lester says, I used to do speed and cough syrup.
Right.
I said, this man is unhinged. Another one. I always tell the girls, never take it seriously. If you never take it seriously, you never get hurt. And if you never get hurt, you always have fun. And if you ever get lonely, you just go to the record store and visit your friends. Love. I love Penny Lane.
Yes,
I love her.
That quote is absolutely one of my favorite quotes from the film. It is so relatable. Again, I can relate to movies too. I remember being a kid and sitting in a Blockbuster and reading the back of VHS boxes and trying to figure out what these movies are, and this person directed that. I was a nerd, guys, but yes. What Penny Lane says is perfect. Music connects all of us. I have tons of stories with music that has connected me with people that I'm still friends with to this day, so I love that. I'm glad you said that because that's definitely one of my favorites too. So we definitely relate there. I say feck all the time. I'm always like, when I'm just not being serious, I'm always like, feck you. And usually people are like,
I need to start doing that.
Yeah. I'm always
right, and you're like, oh, you've never seen Almost Famous? That's fine.
Yeah.
That's whatever. The difference is you.
Yeah. The letter U. Yeah.
Another one. Again, Penny Lane, my girl. Whenever she says to Russell, how does it end? That line, it's not a crazy line, but it's just, how does it end? And she just goes into depth of what she's actually talking about, of her relationship with Russell, but that line in itself, it's like, how does it end for all of them? Mm-hmm. None of them know. William mm-hmm. doesn't know, like, is he going to make it to graduation? Clearly not. Is the band going to stay together? Are they going to get a new manager? Are they going to start riding planes more? Like, how does it end?
That's a good one.
And then, not my favorite quote, but there's a lot of people in my world and or the reality TV world. It's all happening.
It's all happening.
Sheena Shea, if you've ever seen Vanderpump Rules. I don't know if you've ever watched that. No? I binge watched it a couple years ago before, like, the scandal of it all happened. It was wild. But Sheena Shea, one of the girls, she has a tattoo that says "It's all happening" on her arm. And I wonder, is Almost Famous her favorite movie? I don't know. But my friend would say it, and then my other friend would say it. I'm just like, what is this line? So
what is happening?
What is, right? Like, what is all that's happening? So it's a line that has, like, went beyond this actual film.
Yeah.
I think those are my quotes.
Oh, those are all great, and I would probably say those are all of my favorites too.
There was one more.
Oh, tell me.
Whenever Russell, because this is, again, if you haven't seen the Untitled, you're not going to see the scene, which is trash. Whenever Russell says, "It's not what you put into it, it's what you leave out." Mm-hmm. Listen to Marvin Gaye's "What's Happening, Brother?" The second woo. At the end of the second verse, it's the little things, the silly things, the mistakes. There's only one of them, and it makes a song. It's what you leave out.
Beautiful.
Couldn't
agree more. All from the Oscar award-winning screenplay by Cameron Crowe. What a guy.
I know. You would think I would have scored it a higher on
No, it's
writing.
fine. It's okay. Listen, maybe at the end you'll be like, you know what, Dave? I changed my mind and I raised the rating up a little bit. But we'll see. We'll get there. I do have a couple quotes. I won't sit here and analyze all of them, but I'll definitely throw them out there. Lester Bangs says, "The only true currency in this bankrupt world is what you share with someone else when you're uncool." Love that. Another one from Lester Bangs. He says, "My advice to you, I know you think those guys are your friends. You want to be a true friend to them? Be honest and unmerciful."
That's the line.
Yep, that's it. As soon as I started reading it, I'm like, this is what Brittany wanted.
Yes.
I think I've learned a lot from that. I'm not saying that Lester Bangs taught me that, but I think it's just kind of, in life, you just have to be honest and unmerciful in terms of, you got to let people know how you really feel. And it might hurt their feelings. It might not be what they want to hear, but you have to be honest and you have to be unmerciful. And that's something that I struggled with a lot when I was growing up. And maybe even recently, but there are times when maybe Lester Bangs isn't the one in my head, but I can hear something like that in my head and just be like, just be honest. What's going to happen?
Right, they're going to be upset. Okay. Would you rather me lie to you?
Okay. I love when Elaine tells Russell over the phone when she calls and talks to him on the payphone, and she says, "I didn't ask for this role, but I'll play it. Now go do your best. Be bold, and mighty forces will come to your aid. It's not too late for you to become a person of substance, Russell. Please get my son home safely. I'm glad we spoke."
Love that. I love their interactions.
Mm-hmm.
Both of them.
Yeah, she was being very motherly towards him, which I really liked, and she obviously played into that really well. Mm-hmm. There is a quote from Sapphire that I love a lot, too. She says, "They don't even know what it is to be a fan, to truly love some silly little piece of music or some band so much that it hurts." I get that. I feel that. I feel that a lot.
I do. Agreed.
I mean, I've been talking for an hour and 15 minutes about Almost Famous. It hurts. Don't worry, guys. I'll edit this a little bit. Yeah. So I have one more that I do. There's a lot of ones, guys. I know I'm leaving a bunch out that people are gonna be like, "Why didn't you say this?" Lester, again. Damn, Lester, you got something. You're teaching. Lester says, "Here's a theory for you to disregard completely. Music, true music, not just rock and roll. It chooses you. It lives in your car or alone, listening to your headphones with vast scenic bridges and angelic choirs in your brain. It's a place apart from the vast benign lap of America. Beautiful.
Again, not wrong. He's
not
correct.
Wrong. Yep.
Like, Hayley Williams' new album has been on repeat since it came out.
I've seen your stories. You've been sharing away.
She's amazing. I love her.
I'll have to check it out. I actually haven't listened to it, so I should probably do that.
20 songs worth it.
I'll take it. All right, really quick character rundown. Russell, William, Elaine, Jeff, and Penny. Those are our 5 main characters. Who would you think is your favorite written character and favorite character, like portrayed, like the actor, how they do with the role? Who's your favorite?
I feel like people can guess who I'm about to say, because I've mentioned her multiple times. It would be the lovely Penny Lane, a.k.a. Kate Hudson.
Yes.
Yes.
What?
She is just... I don't know. I feel like she is the calm of this whole film, especially with the other girls who are absolute just chaotic. And she's like, all right. Like... And I think because, like, how they are portrayed as Band-Aids and not groupies, like, I think she's trying to teach them, like, you can't act the way that you are because you are in turn showing that you are a groupie instead of being, like, the crutch that these grown men can lean on. And yeah, no, I love her. She deserves better.
Yeah. I love all these characters. I think they're all written really well. But I have said this before, somewhere in the universe, someone has heard me say this. Penny Lane is probably one of, if not the, best written and portrayed character in film history. I could write a thesis on Penny Lane. I could write a lot about Penny Lane's character. Thanks. Yes.
I would read it.
There's something about her. I wrote down a little bit about Penny Lane, kind of like bullet points. I said that she's complex. There's a magnetic force, I guess, with her. She walks into a room and it's almost like she demands the attention, even if she's not actually asking for it. It's just her being her. It's her way of entering the room. She's doing it for herself, but everyone pays attention, which I think is great. That is the writing and the acting. The thing about Penny Lane is no one else could have played Penny Lane. I'm sorry. There are some great actors out there. We could put Meryl Streep in this role, and she would not play it the way that Kate Hudson does, and no one could have written Penny Lane the way Cameron Crowe did. And that's something I stand by. There's like a vulnerability to her, but she's also extremely confident. She's very back and forth. She doesn't mean to be. She's independent, but she's also really wounded, and you can see it. You can see that she's wounded, but her confidence is just sky high.
When she first meets Russell, you could tell immediately. I wrote down Penny Lane and Russell meet. I don't think that's the first time, by the tears in her eyes. And then the second or third time, or I think it was the second time, I said, boy, was I right. Because you can just tell. Like, you can tell how in love she is with him just from her turning around and looking at him before they even shake hands. And then you see William see them like, wait a minute, I'm so confused with what's happening right now in front of my face.
For sure. So the scene you're describing when William introduces Penny to Russell, and she's kind of kneeling down, and she turns around and she's kind of reaches her hand out to him, and like you said, you're kind of like, I don't know, I can kind of, there's already something here. There's already some kind of chemistry. She has these tears in her eyes, and she kind of lets out like a laugh, and when she laughs, some tears fall out of her eyes. Amazing.
She's amazing. I love Kate Hudson.
Fun fact about this scene. So when Cameron Crowe was filming this movie, he would play music in the background to soundtrack for the actors to see what works. So he played Joni Mitchell's song River, which is what's playing when this is happening, Kate Hudson said that between the writing and the music that was in the background and the eyes locking with Billy Crudup, she said that she just couldn't hold it in. It felt like such an emotional moment that those tears are real. They're not scripted tears. Cameron Crowe didn't tell her to cry. She said everything about that moment it made her feel so vulnerable and also so happy. Music has that effect, and the writing has that effect, and that to me is filmmaking. That's what you want to get from your actors, and that's what you want to put on the screen. So it's kind of cool. Yeah. I was listening to a podcast a couple weeks ago about Almost Famous. I like to hear other people's points of views, and someone on there was saying that Kate Hudson was not a very good actress in this role, and that Penny Lane is not a very good character. He said that him and his wife felt as though Kate Hudson was always acting, that she didn't seem like a genuine human, that she just seemed like someone who was acting out lines on a page. For anyone, and this goes out to that guy on that podcast, sir, for anyone who feels that way about this character, my argument is, only if you feel this way, my argument is, she is acting. As a character, Penny Lane is acting. She's not being her authentic self. And she's trying to figure that out. She needs to know who she is. So by acting, again, as Penny Lane, if she was a real human, Kate Hudson, we're not in the movie land, Penny Lane is acting. She is putting on a show for everyone around her. Her mannerisms are different depending on who she's around. Her lies, her stories are different no matter who she's around. And when she finally speaks truths, she feels much better about herself. And the goals that she sets for herself, if and when she achieves them, she feels confident. But she puts on that fake confidence always. So sure, if you feel like Kate Hudson's just acting, she is, because that's the character. And that, to me, is what makes both the writing and Kate Hudson's acting so good. To me, that makes it feel like way more of a genuine character, a more realistic character of someone who, granted, we don't know her age. This makes it all, she's trying to figure it out. So it doesn't matter how old you are. I mean, I'm like we've talked earlier, 37 years old. I don't know what I want to do. So right. I got mad when that guy was talking like that, because I don't agree. And I know people have opinions. It doesn't mean mine's right. That, to me, if that's your argument, that she just seems like she's acting, then she's doing exactly what she's supposed to be doing.
Yeah. And period.
Mic
That's
drop.
Silly. It's Kate Hudson.
It's Kate Hudson, sir.
Don't disrespect her like that. Again, her first movie that I watched was How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. Period. Therefore, her acting in, that's a double inception for this movie. It's Kate Hudson acting as Penny Lane, acting as trying to find herself in a world that she calls her home, but is it really her home? Right. Because that line that she says whenever William, I know we haven't talked about Tiny Dancer in depth yet, that scene, but whenever he says, I have to go home, and she says, you are home. And I feel like at that moment, she had to convince herself that she was home too. Mm-hmm. Because they're all trying to convince themselves that is their home, despite everything is happening around them outside of that bus. Yep. Because, Russell just jumped off of a house prior to that and screamed at William's face and said, are you the feds or whatever? Unhinged man.
Unhinged. But yes.
Russell
exactly.
made me mad. More than
Russell.
once in this fucking movie.
So let's talk original casting.
Mm-hmm. Couldn't imagine it.
Do you know who the original Russell Hammond? Do you know who the original Russell Hammond was?
Brad Pitt.
Mm-hmm.
Could not imagine it, and I love Brad Pitt. Couldn't imagine it. What do you mean? And this last time that I watched it today, I was trying to picture him in it. I said, I'm so sorry. I couldn't imagine it.
Brad Pitt was cast as Russell. He did numerous days with Cameron Crowe, sit down, script read-throughs. I mean, he was in it. This wasn't just a possibility or he got casted and then they changed their mind. You know, he was in it. He was practicing these lines with Cameron one-on-one. Cameron Crowe does like acting classes per se. Like he gets together with them one-on-one and he tries to like bring the character to life with them and see how they pull it together, which I think is pretty cool. They do whole auditions together, whatever. Point is, Brad Pitt was balls deep into being Russell Hammond, and Brad Pitt reached out to Cameron Crowe one day and said, I don't think this project's for me. I want to drop out. And Cameron Crowe said, why? Like, why am I losing you? And Brad Pitt said, I just don't get it. I just don't understand the character.
Interesting.
Which is fine.
Yeah.
Much like you said, I couldn't imagine Brad Pitt being this character. Well, I lied. I can imagine Brad Pitt being this character because it's this rock star lifestyle, he's an attractive man. They were feeding into that angle of it, right? But I think what makes the casting of Billy Crudup so good is that he just has this like mysterious thing about him. You know, he's
modestly hot.
Perfect. That's the best way to say it. I was trying to figure out how to say that. Yes. And that's it. And there's this level of mystery to him. And nothing against Brad Pitt, but like on a surface level, what you see with Brad Pitt is what you get. Like that's Brad Pitt. Okay? He's already a big name. He's already established. Phenomenal actor. Again, this isn't talking about his acting compared to Billy Crudup's. Having such a big name like that in this film, to me, would have taken away from...
It would have changed the whole movie.
Yeah. It would take away from what gives the film heart. And then Kate Hudson was not originally Penny Lane. It was Sarah Polley, which...
Who's that?
So she was in this movie called Go. I don't know if you ever saw that. Okay. I absolutely love that movie. I'm definitely doing an episode on that someday. She was in the Dawn of the Dead remake from 2004. She's one of those actors that's in quite a bit of things. I can't really sit here and...
She was in... I know who that is.
Okay.
Yes.
So she was the original Penny Lane. And Kate Hudson was cast as Anita. So Kate Hudson was originally cast as Zooey Deschanel's character of Anita, which was William's sister. And then...
That would have been a different film entirely.
Yeah. So we were looking at something completely different here, and I think the direction they went just makes more sense for multiple reasons. Those being some of them.
Yeah, I did read that Brad Pitt, I don't know if this is true or not, the age of Penny Lane bothered him, which just makes me wonder. Like, why can't I just need to know how old they are.
Sure.
I just want to know. Or at least how old the guys are, because then somebody said that Russell is in his like mid to early 20s. No, he's not. Don't lie to me. You're lying. Like early mid 30s.
Yeah.
Is what I'm picturing. Late 20s at the youngest.
Yeah. And I think that's the great mystery of it too, is like we really don't know. And that kind of gives it that, again, it's all back to that mysterious, the rock star, the Band-Aids, like, who are you? How old are you?
But I think that's what makes me so mad about this movie, because, like, why are you hanging out with these girls? Especially Anna Paquin's character. Yeah. What's her name?
I have to say her whole name. I have it here. Her whole name is Polexia Aphrodisia.
Like, what? It's all happening.
It's all happening.
And it's funny that she's the one who says that.
Right. It's all happening.
Just running out of nowhere in her all purple with her little butterfly clips.
Yeah, she looks so innocent, and all these other things are happening. She
does. Right? Makes my brain hurt.
Tell me a couple of your favorite scenes from this movie. Scenes that stand out for you.
Okay, so whenever we first meet Lester Banks at the radio station, and he's just like going back and forth. At first, I thought that was his radio station, and then I realized that I think he was just visiting, throwing that girl's record just everywhere. I thought that was funny. The scene where Russell and Penny are in the ice room at the hotel, which they should have never cut out. Again, watch the Untitled, because the other one you don't understand it. But I as much as I love that scene, because there was like a lot of dramatic dynamic between the two of them, Russell's hand in the ice sent me to a different world. Because other human beings use that. Why'd you put your full hand in there? Yep. Just scooped it on out. Scooped it on out. But that whole scene between like Penny walking into the hotel, she tells everybody like, hey, as you said, she commands the room. She walks in. Mm-hmm. Everybody's watching her. She puts out people's cigarettes. We're like, we're not doing this here. Though manager is smoking a bong. Touche. And whenever Anna Paquin's character, she said you were her excuse for coming here because she just needed to be one step closer to Russell to have that conversation to inevitably go down the path that she already went through last year. Mm-hmm. Again. It's a vicious cycle.
It is. The romance.
And she screws him over on, or he screws him over on her birthday. It's disrespectful. Age unknown.
Age unknown.
Yeah, it's currently happening right now. It's on in the background.
Oh, perfect. Oh, I need to know.
I'm mad. And then another one was whenever Elaine and Russell were talking on the phone, the one that you were talking about. Yes. And he looks absolutely terrified when she goes, my 15-year-old son, and he just looks over like, he said he was 18. Oh. But like you can just see all the wheels turning in his head like, all right, okay, let's reevaluate what we've just been doing for the last couple weeks. Shit. I really like that.
Hey, you got some good ones here.
Yeah. What were yours?
My favorite scene, which we'll talk about in a little bit, is the bus scene with Tiny Dancer. And there's reasons for it. Another one of my absolute favorite scenes, and some of the best acting in the movie, is when Russell sells Penny Lane for $50 and a case of beer. And the scene I'm talking about is the next scene when her and William are in the park. And they're having this conversation, and William's like, wake up. Like, what is this reality that you're talking about? This fantasy land. And he's like, Russell just sold you for $50 and a case of beer. And Kate Hudson's acting here, the vulnerability, this scene, this moment, pulls together everything that I said, that you said about Penny Lane.
She stops acting at that moment.
She stops acting, and the tears in her eyes are so genuine, and she just wipes them away like it means nothing anymore, and she says, what kind of beer? But we know that it kills her, that this is what's happening.
That meant everything. That absolutely broke her heart. Hate it.
Scenes.
Russell's a piece of shit.
Fun fact about this scene also is the night before, Kate Hudson went out drinking and got really drunk and stayed up all night long and didn't go to sleep at all. And she was sneaking back into the hotel, and Cameron Crowe saw her when she was going back to her room.
And she's like, busted. Great.
Yeah, so she was extremely hungover when she filmed that scene. And yeah, I think that's silly.
Honestly, it really sets the scene. It really sets the scene.
It does. I can sit here and talk about all of these scenes that I love. There's memorable scenes. The airplane scene that you talked about when the drummer comes out, he screams, "I'm gay," and then the plane's fine. And everyone's just like, la la la. All right, cool. Yeah. One scene, I don't love this scene, but I'm going to bring up a moment in a scene that's controversial, which is when William loses his virginity to two other girls. So he loses his virginity in a threesome.
Three. There was three. Yeah. And then one leaves, but... Yeah. There was... Yeah. But... Yep.
In this moment, sex stuff aside, Penny Lane is in the room before things start really happening, and the way that he looks at her, and the way she looks at him, and then she covers her hand on her face, and then does this to watch, being goofy. Not something to laugh about, guys, but... Again, it's in this moment, if we're detached from those ideas, in this moment, the look that he gives her, to me, in this moment, embodies everything about both of these characters, because William's getting something that a lot of 15-year-old men want. You know, a bunch of women worshiping him and, you know, about to take his virginity. So he's in this moment that these 15-year-olds are really wanting. All he can see is Penny. That's all his. That's his connection. That's what he wants. That's all he can see. And the way she looks at him, the goofiness, the silliness, and it's that banter, that play that they have with one another. And I just really like that moment. And I think that means a lot. And another one of my favorite scenes is the beginning of the movie when he finds out how old he actually is. 11.
Freaks out. I love how Anita says, "Mother, you have to pull over. You have to tell him." She goes, "Oh, does this really have to? Do we need to do this right now? Because does she really need to? Like, we can't go home. We can't talk about this in the house.
Right?
Like, you want me to physically pull over and then tell this little boy that he's actually not 13? Stop."
So Anita's like, "They call him a narc behind his back." And he's like, "What's a narc?" And she's like, "A narcotics officer." She's like, "Well, what's wrong with that?"
Right? It's like, Mom. Though that shower scene with those mean little boys, that's one scene I would delete from the Untitled.
Perfect. Okay, so we're jumping into that. So one of my next questions that I wanted to go over was, is there a scene in the movie that you would delete no matter what? So that's it, when they're showering?
That one. Because, like, first off, leave him alone. Second, mind your business. Third,
mind your business.
Go away. Like, he's showering. Why are you staring at me?
Why are you worried about my pubes, bro?
Yeah, like, what? And then that's what you guys are going to call him for the rest of his... Thank God he's graduating at 15, because he deserves better.
He definitely does. So that moment actually happened to Cameron Crowe, almost line by line. He said that kids in the shower rooms would say those things to him. So all of that was actually pulled from real moments in his childhood.
I hate that for him.
Only scene that I think I would have gotten rid of, which I always felt, but more recently rewatching this specifically for the podcast, I don't know if I would delete it, but it might be my least favorite scene. I feel like it's drug on a little bit, kind of like me talking right now, is the scene when they're doing the radio interview.
Yeah, that's fair. Because he could have been... I get it,
right.
Like, he wasn't hot. Like, Mary Jane did not do that to that man.
Yeah.
So, unnecessary. I think it was funny.
Oh, it's funny.
Because they just kept throwing the F-bomb
Yeah.
left and right. I thought that was hilarious. And then somehow he wakes up once the song stops. How did you not hear all of these people talking?
That'd be like me being like, "Hey, welcome back to the Reaction Shot Podcast. I am your host, Dave Herman, and that is Brittany Cunningham."
Right?
Yeah.
And then it's just like, you didn't hear words that whole time?
Right.
But you heard the song just turn off? Interesting.
Yes. We talked about the music a little bit. You mentioned multiple times about understanding different songs in the background. Is there one song outside of Tiny Dancer? Is there one song that you really liked how the music was used in the film?
You already mentioned this, but River by Joan Mitchell. Because, like, the words of the song, which apparently, according to, I forget what article I was reading, it has become a modern day Christmas classic. That song.
Yeah.
Because it's about, like, losing love and, like, just all of this stuff, and you could just really feel it if you're listening to the words while watching that. I was like, damn. And it makes sense to why Kate was actually crying. For real.
Have you listened to that song? Like, have you...
Not fully, but I was listening to it partially to figure out which song I was picking.
A great song. Absolutely great song.
It is.
I think one of my favorite uses, other than River, is probably America by Simon & Garfunkel from the beginning of the film.
I always had that one.
Yeah, it's the lyric. Even like the lyrics of the song just make sense to what's happening. You mentioned that too. Like, Cameron just did such a great job of picking different songs that are also kind of telling the same exact story as the film itself or the scene. So I think that's a good example right there. Little Simon & Garfunkel. Look at their eyes. Yes. They are on pot.
Pot. How she said it was so funny.
She's great.
Oh, man.
All right.
I love Elaine.
Now, this brings us to the bus scene. Tiny Dancer.
Yes.
Elton John. When you saw this movie for the first time, and just be completely honest, what did this scene do to you?
Genuinely nothing, only because I associate this song with a different movie, so I couldn't unsee that.
Sure.
But I get it. Like, I understand what it was meant to do, but my brain just didn't connect that to it.
And that's okay. What other movie does the song?
My Girl Too.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was the Reaction Shot Podcast. Thank you.
Listen, it's a great movie. Jamie Lee Curtis is in it. I mean, not all of it, but she's in it.
She's in it. I honestly, I've seen My Girl Too, but it's probably been forever. But I do love My Girl.
Yes.
But
yes.
This moment, you mentioned it's directly after I'm a Golden God. Russell does acid at a party. The band has been fighting about the T-shirts and who the front man should be, and it's just all this typical bullshit. And it all comes to the scene. They get on the tour bus. No one's really talking. Everyone's frustrated. Everyone's tired, and the song starts playing. And very slowly, each person starts to sing along to it. And then there's a moment with Penny Lane and William in the back. William looks at Penny and he says, "I have to go home." And she turns to him and she kind of puts her fingers in his face. I'm doing it, just to let everyone know I'm doing it on the camera. She puts her hand in his face and kind of does like this magical, almost like rain coming down him. And she says, a little poof. And she says, "You are home." In that moment, she rests her head on his shoulder and he turns and looks forward to everyone singing the song. And it's this moment, everything that they were frustrated about all washes away because of this song, this music in this moment. And to me, that is, it's beautiful. I can't tell you how many times, and I feel like you probably feel the same way, Brittany. You hear a song, you're just like, this song touches me. I get it.
Yes.
I understand where the artist is coming from. Sometimes you experience songs with people, even if it's at a concert. There's a song that comes on that means a lot to you, and then you're in a room full of people who all start singing that same exact song. You'll see people crying or laughing at their favorite line that's silly or whatever it might be, and it's just kind of that's what it's all about. That's what the music's about. That's what family's about, your chosen family. You talked a little bit about the "You Are Home" line that was said. So how I see "You Are Home" is, you are home when you're with the people that mean the world to you, in the moments that mean the most to you, the moments that are unforgettable. I love that moment so much. And the great thing about this scene is Cameron Crowe, in the award-winning screenplay, he didn't write that line. There was actually, in the screenplay, there's no dialogue in this scene. It's just the song and them all singing along, and they're healed by the coming together singing the song. Cameron Crowe had a thing on set where he always told them to kind of play around with different lines of dialogue and things like that. Patrick Fugit just looked at Kate Hudson and said, "I need to go home." And she just looked at him, did her thing, and she says, "You are home," laid her head on her shoulder. He looked forward, and Cameron Crowe was like, "That's perfect. We're leaving that."
I love that.
That was in the moment acting, and to me,
that was
again,
her acting. You're welcome, sir.
Yep, sir, Mr. Podcast Man from whatever
put
podcast.
Respect on her name.
Yeah, to me, that makes the moment even more amazing because of that.
I like that.
Yeah, and every time I see that scene, I love it so much. I actually got a tattoo on my wrist.
I have seen that.
Yeah, so it says you are home, so it's the line from Kate Hudson, and it's actually half of my handwriting and half of Cameron Crowe's handwriting. So I took how he wrote the credits out and took different letters, and I also wrote the same exact thing, and I combined the writing to make "You Are Home."
I love that.
But it means a lot to me.
That's
and
amazing.
Yeah, so like, it meant a lot to me. I think that scene's amazing. That's why the script means a lot to me. And even though that isn't in the script, I feel like that's what great directing does. It allows the actors this open space to understand what was on the page and to bring even more to it by acting. That, to me, is cinema.
Agreed.
All right, one little fun thing for us to do, since we're talking about Tiny Dancer and the bus scene. I wrote down for you, Brittany, I said Tiny Dancer came out in 1972. If we were on tour with a band in 2003, choose a song from 2002, since Tiny Dancer came out in 1972 and the movie is 1973. We're on tour with a band in 2003, choose a song from 2002 that would soundtrack the same type of emotion and scenario as Tiny Dancer. What did you pick?
Honestly, I feel like nothing could compare. It's Elton John.
Sure.
It's Tiny, especially in that time period, like in 2003 or 2002. Like, there's nothing that brings together such... I can't think of the word, but I feel like that song is untouchable.
I agree. And there's nothing that compares to Tiny Dancer, and I think, when asking this question, I really don't think this scene could be altered in any way, shape, or form. There's something about Tiny Dancer that brings the way that the song is sung and the arrangement of the music. It can't be undone. It can't be changed. It can't be replaced.
Yeah.
It definitely had a little bit of fun with it, so I'll give you two of the ones I really liked that I came up with. But
I wonder if you're going to pick... There's two in my head right now.
Okay. The first one, which I think would be my answer, so I'm going to go with what my answer is. Mm-hmm. Wherever You Will Go by The Calling. It's okay if you can't think of it right now.
I can't. I
can't sing, so I can't do it for you, and I don't understand copyright, so I'm not going to play it. So anyone, you can pause the podcast, go listen to Wherever You Will Go by The Calling. Yes.
Okay, yeah. A part of me can hear it in my head.
Okay. The other one, the runner-up, would be She Will Be Loved by Maroon 5. I don't know. There's something about that song.
That, again, makes me think of Laguna Beach. If you've ever watched Laguna Beach.
I love Laguna Beach.
Yes. That's a great song. I was thinking Kelly Clarkson, A Moment Like This.
Okay. That's good.
But it still doesn't bring the same...
Right. I had Kelly Clarkson's Breakaway on here as well.
Oh, okay.
And I also had, as a joke, I had 1,000 Miles by Vanessa Carlton. To see everyone on the bus being like, making my way downtown, walking. Yeah.
Everybody turns into Terry Crews.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, that's exactly literally what I was thinking. Terry Crews was the inspiration for that moment, because I just pictured Russell being like...
Yes. Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah. So that was just my joke answer.
No, I feel like those are good answers. But again, it wouldn't bring the same nostalgia.
I agree. Tiny Dancer is untouchable. I could talk about this movie for hours. I sent you over an outline of a whole bunch of things to talk about, and I'm just looking at it. I'm like, oh my god, this episode's going to be 18 hours long. It's going to be the untitled director's cut of the episode.
Yes.
I talked about the bootleg director's cut, the differences. So there are longer scenes. There's more Stillwater. Some of the dialogue's different, and I think in a positive way. Definitely more character development. There's more relationships and emotions with these characters. Why do you think Almost Famous became what it was over time? It wasn't a hit off the bat. Is there something about Almost Famous that you feel keeps it, in everyone's mind, that makes it a favorite film of everyone's? Do you see that connection? Even if you don't feel it, do you understand why some people do?
Yes, I feel like, I think it's more so the wonder of a life like that. Mm-hmm. Maybe because that's probably the easiest way to put yourself into somebody's shoes in that aspect of the music industry, or maybe it'll inspire somebody to become a musician or start a band and do all of that, or become a journalist like William. So I can see in that aspect how it took ground from 2000. Because, I mean, 25 years is a good amount of time to, like, really look into something and it becoming more important in later years.
Yeah.
Because I feel like, again, nostalgia does that, to where it makes you look back and really think about what was happening, what you were going through, and all that stuff.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think, we throw the word nostalgia around a lot on the podcast and when it comes to like pop culture moments like this, but I think this is definitely a definitive version of what nostalgia is, and it's a positive. It's not like, oh, you just like that movie because of nostalgia. That doesn't have to be a negative thing. And I think this movie is a prime example of nostalgia for many different types of reasons. And that, to me, is what keeps it going over time. And like you said, people, paying attention to the dreams that these characters have and the wants and desires that they have and the relationships that we see playing out on screen. Those are the things that people hold on to. And I hope that someday, maybe 5 years from now, you go back and rewatch this untitled bootleg director's cut edition and you're like, oh, I get it a little bit more now. Not that you don't understand it now, but I think we all go through phases in life and stages in life when we re-watch or re-listen or do whatever, and we have a different type of connection to something. I think Almost Famous is a movie that you can watch at different stages in your life, get something a little bit different from it each time, and maybe that gets a little bit more meaning and traction in your life. So,
and even too, like a couple of lines that were taken out in the beginning, whenever Elaine and William are walking down, and they walk by the guy who's writing Xmas, and she gives him a quick lesson on vocabulary and words.
Yep.
And he just looks at her, says thanks, and then looks at the son, or looks at William, and like makes a face like, man, that's your mom.
That's your
and
mom.
he's like,
and he goes,
she sure is. And then
Yeah,
he keeps on keeping on. And I think, like, even something as small as that just shows who she is. Like, she's just there to educate, help out, show a different perspective, but she's willing to also learn herself. And I like that.
She is a teacher who gets taught a lesson about dreams and letting people, especially her son, her children, truly look at that. And I think next thing I want to talk about scene-wise is the ending of the film with Penny Lane telling Russell that he can come over to her house. She gives him the address and ends up being William's house. And
love that.
It's so good. And I think that whole last scene just has so much heart to it. And then I love when William says, I'm finally getting your interview exactly the way I want it, how you want to say it. And the first question he asks is, what do you love about music? And Russell says, to start, everything.
And I love that Penny Lane, she chose herself.
She chose herself. She went to Morocco.
She chose herself, and she chose to help William understand a life that he wanted to understand more. Like, she gave him that gift. Like Anita gave him the original gift of music. Penny Lane gave William the gift of the artist that she genuinely saw the biggest potential off the bat.
Yep. You get it, Brittany. You get it. It's all,
I get it.
It's all happening.
It's all,
I love it.
It's all happening.
It's all happening. One last fun game we got to play really quick before we end this episode is 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon, because I know that's what everyone is looking forward to. So for 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon, I picked Patrick Fugit, who plays William Miller. And what was your Kevin Bacon connection, Brittany?
My Kevin Bacon connection is pretty fast.
Oh, love it.
Fingers crossed. You said, oh.
Nope.
So he was in Almost Famous with Billy Crudup, and Billy Crudup was in Sleepers with Kevin Bacon.
Oh my gosh. I love it. I love it. That's good.
Thank you.
That's good. Good job, Brittany. I have Patrick Fugit. I have him in Saved, a movie that I love from 2004. He was in that with Macaulay Culkin. Macaulay Culkin was in My Girl with Dan Aykroyd. And Dan Aykroyd was in Queen Latifah's beauty shop with Kevin Bacon.
He was. That's a good movie. I like that movie.
That is a good movie. I do too. My Girl's amazing. Saved is great. Love it.
I've never seen Saved.
I recommend it. I think...
That's with Mandy Moore, right?
Yes. I think...
Okay.
Saved worked a lot better. Its comedy, its humor was very original when it came out. Mm-hmm. And that's what I loved most about it. Rewatching it now, I don't feel like it feels as original. Okay. But it is a good movie. It's definitely worth a watch. Mandy Moore's performance is pretty great. Not gonna lie.
Good to know.
You'll like it. Wrapping it up. Finally, this movie means so much to me. I've said it a bazillion times. Could watch it all the time. I even got a tattoo. It's imprinted on me that I love this movie. I have the poster. I have the Funko Pop of Penny Lane right there. I don't know if you can see it. She's right there with my finger.
Oh, I do. Is she backstage?
It's here. I'll show you.
Wait, that's so cute. Quit it.
Yep, so
I love
she
her
has
little sunglasses.
Yep, she has her sunglasses. She has her jacket. She just it's Penny Lane. It's Penny.
She's
Lane.
just very stylish with her.
She is stylish.
Her fur. Her fur in the middle of the summer.
Oh, Penny. What is Penny's real name? Do you remember it?
Isn't it Joan?
Nope.
Is that what she says?
Nope.
Where did I write it? I forgot.
Penny Lane's real name is Lady Goodman.
Lady Goodman, yes.
Lady Goodman. And
Lady
at the end of the movie, Russell even says, he's like, I never even knew her name, man. And William, in a very subtle acting way, is kind of like, I do. He doesn't say it, but he says it with his face. I love it. Mm-hmm. I love it.
And you can tell, Russell can tell, he's like, damn.
Mm-hmm. Damn. So this is a great
moment.
Because
at the end of the day,
yeah,
he loved the idea of Penny Lane, and she was in love with him.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the tea.
That's the tea.
She deserved better.
She deserved better. Say it louder for the kids in the back.
And that's the tea.
She got close to the microphone on that one, guys.
Sure did.
This is a great moment in time to say Cameron Crowe wrote a memoir about his life. It is called The Uncool. And I will tell you, it is an incredible book. It talks about his life during the same exact time that Almost Famous takes place. This feels like the director's cut of the director's cut.
Interesting.
I mean, he's telling his story, so it's not as dramatic and played out as the film, but he talks in depth about a lot of these scenes that happened in the movie and how they played out in real life and who kind of became the version of Russell that he had and why that is. He talks about his mom and how his mom was all the way up until the end of her life, and that's everything that's in this book. If you guys are a fan of Almost Famous or want to know more about the journey Cameron Crowe took, definitely go check out The Uncool by Cameron Crowe. Yeah, it's great.
Very cool.
All right, Brittany, final thoughts. You gave the film what?
Honestly, after talking about it, I'll give it an 8. Originally, I gave it a 7.5. So it was never low. It was never low. It just...
It came up a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I'm assuming yours is a 10 out of 10, 15 out of 10, up there.
Listen, I'm not gonna break the scale. It is a 10 out of 10. That is my reaction shot. 10 out of 10. Brittany, you said you're an 8 out of 10?
Yes.
That's where we're at? Perfect.
Yes.
That's what I love to hear.
And honestly, combine the two, we get a 9, probably even, which is basically what everybody else was saying.
Yeah, so we're right there, guys, together, Brittany and I, talk about this film. There's so much more I could say. There's so many behind-the-scenes things I could talk about. I have like 20-some pages of like behind-the-scenes stories, and I'll be honest with you guys, I'm not going to bore you with all of that. Go check it out. Go look up some of the behind-the-scenes stories of Almost Famous. Maybe I'll do a part 2 down the road. I've been on 2 other podcasts talking about this movie, so any final thoughts on the movie before we head out? Anything else you want to say?
No, check it out. Definitely the Untitled. Don't watch the other one. Not worth it. But
guys, spend the money. Watch the Untitled. It's literally called Almost Famous Untitled, the Bootleg Edition. Or some people call it the Director's Edition. Check that out. It is available to buy on video on demand. So Apple, Vudu, Fandango at home, whatever you use. It's on sale a lot. I see it on sale a lot. It's $4.99 a lot of the time, so not too expensive. It's worth it. Even if it doesn't end up being your favorite movie, it's going to mean something to you at some point in time in your life. So just bite the bullet, spend the money, watch the movie. Almost Famous. Thank you.
Almost Famous.
Almost Famous.
Mic drop.
Mic drop, guys. I don't want to drop my mic though. Make a lot of sound.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that would be too much.
Things will get weird. So,
Yeah.
Well, thanks everyone for tuning in to the new episode of the Reaction Shot podcast, where we talked about the 25th anniversary of the best FECKin movie ever, Almost Famous. It all happened, guys. It all happened.
It all happened.
Brittany, thank you so much for joining me on this conversation and watching Almost Famous for the very first time. You were a trooper by watching.
Having me.
Yeah, you were a trooper by watching the director's cut. You were a trooper by watching the theatrical version as well. And as always, you're a trooper by sitting here talking to me for 2 hours about this film. And this is probably the shortened version of what I could have done. So.
Yes. Hey, it all works out. It all happened. And we love it.
It all happened. All right, guys, thanks so much for listening. I will catch you next time. Brittany, thanks again. I hope everyone has a great night. And we'll see you next time. Bye.
See ya.